Hey guys, welcome back. Picked up several good bourbons here lately. Well, I say they're good. I hope they're good. I know a couple of them are because I've tried them on a live stream here or there, but let's get to reviewing one right after this. All right, we have Bib and Tucker. I had to wrestle with that plastic a little bit. Weird cork. I've seen this on the shelf a few times. Passed it over. It says age 6 years, but it's funny because they don't call it a straight bourbon. They call it a small batch bourbon whiskey, and it doesn't say straight bourbon. Now it is Tennessee. They could call it Tennessee whiskey if they wanted to, I guess. But it's age 6 years, Bib and Tucker. Distilled in Tennessee, bottled by Bib and Tucker, Columbia, Tennessee. This is 92 proof, 46% by volume, regular tiny little cork with no topper on it at all. Interesting bottle. You can't really, it's, you know, dark colored bottle. You can't really get a sense of what's inside. I hope I don't need to go get some pliers. Come on, Bib and Tucker, give me something to grab. There we go. All right, there's the cork pop. So, test one, hard to open, but we're gonna pour a little out here. It is light enough I can see through, so I can see the level of bourbon that's left in the bottle, which is better than some. So let me look at the color on it. It is a medium to light amber. I've seen a little bit lighter, but not too many, especially for a 6 year. I don't know anything about this bourbon at all. Like I said, I've passed the bottle over several times on the shelf. It's always been readily available where I buy bourbon here. I do have some interesting picks that I'll be doing over the coming weeks that I picked up in Tennessee on a recent trip. So this past weekend, actually. Not a bad nose. Not a bad nose on this. Not too strong. I'm picking up the typical vanilla caramel apple. But there's a little woody, oaky note in there. And there's something else there. It's like maybe an earthy note, like a grassy note. Yeah, maybe tiny bit of spice, decent legs on it. They're starting to develop. They'll continue to develop as we continue to air and swirl. Yeah, medium to thin. They might get a little thicker here shortly. But let me go ahead and, I'm drinking out of this Bourbon Bounty logo etched glass snifter, but this is acid etching. My wife and I got a laser engraver, and we're getting it all set up. There's a lot more to setting those things up than I knew. We had to get a vent hose and hook it up and all that type of stuff. So we're working on it. All right, let me get the tongue wet on this. I don't like to give a lot of notes on that first sip, but I really didn't get a good shock out of that. Why it's a fine time to drink. Okay. Get the light just right on here and I can read this stuff. Peerless quality. It's a interesting bottle, put it that way. Yeah, it's coating fairly decently. It's kind of sweet up the middle. Yeah, I'm getting a few kind of notes out of it. It's all right. There's nothing off-putting about it. It's just, I don't know. Not what I expected it to be. But I do this so you don't have to, right? I mean, that's what my channel's about. It's kind of giving me a high corn mindset to it. Yeah, it's got that little twangy high corn count kind of note to it. I am getting some of the wildflowery, a little oaky note in there here or there. But I think a lot of sugars came out in this for sure. It's a little bit sweet, but I've had more interesting bourbons that are on the sweet side, but this one, I don't know. It's not really making me dance. But no, it's not bad. It's not bad. And I didn't pay a lot for it. I think I paid about 40 bucks, maybe $36, $38. I don't know. And let me go back to that 30-something dollar mindset on this thing. That's a good caramel note, though. It is a really good caramel note. What would I want to put this? Oh, yeah. I'm thinking about the same price range-ish. That's a sweeter bourbon, is the Elijah Craig. Now, this is a Kentucky straight bourbon, but it's 94 proof, and this one is 92 proof. So let me just try them side by side, because that's what this is kind of bringing my mind to, is like an Elijah Craig. Grab me another snifter here, pour a little. Okay, very similar in color. Oh yeah, very similar in color. I think I have a lot of other offerings from Heaven Hill besides this just regular old Elijah Craig small batch here. But let's let the legs grow on this one a little bit. Oh, I like the nose on that one better. Yep. Oh yeah, Elijah Craig has a better nose to it. But let me get some of this on the tongue. Oh yeah. Yeah, I think this one's a little more balanced. It's the same, very similar sweetness to both of these. All right, this one has a little more of a butterscotchy, I mean, it'll kind of lead your mind there after the Elijah Craig. I call the Elijah Craig honeysuckle bourbon. It reminds me of when I would, as a kid, we would find the honeysuckle, pull the stem, and get that little sweet, just a hint of sweetness, or a drop of sweetness. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I like the Elijah Craig a little better. If I'm going to have one similar. Now, again, few noted, you're not going to get overwhelmed with notes out of Elijah Craig. This one does have a little darker lean to it, but not like super duper. I would drink them both. I mean, and for the price, I think I paid about the same for both of them. So it's not like a big whoop there. It's just very similar. It's just a tiny, slightly different note. So I think if you're going to try the Bib and Tucker, it's not bad at all, especially if they keep the price down under 40 bucks, where comparable to Elijah Craig. It's few noted. I would call it a beginner bourbon. But now you're getting a straight bourbon whiskey. Now this 6 years, I don't know the whole story behind this, but it's small batch, and they just call it bourbon whiskey. I mean, they could call it straight bourbon, I guess, but they don't. Man, that is similar, very similar. But there's a little, like I said, just a slightly darker note to it, but and a little butterscotch in there, where this one's all vanilla, apple, caramel. And I think I know we don't really use smooth, but on a smoothness scale, I think they're very similar. I think Elijah Craig, I'll call it drinkable, like swiggable, right? I think Elijah Craig goes down a lot easier. So if you're new to bourbon, maybe start here and then, you know, try that as a, you know, a comparable type bourbon. But nah, I mean, if you're wanting to try something a little bit different and you like Elijah Craig, try Bib and Tucker. It's not bad. So guys, with that, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up. As always, please like and subscribe, hit the bell down there for notifications, and I promise I'll keep bringing you these videos.